relationship separate from everything else. Okay, so we are going to get everything that you want. We are still taking questions. If there's some things you want to see or things that you just want to talk about, hey, hit me up in the comment section. Hit me up in my inbox. I will be glad to take a look to see if we can do a video on some of these topics, because we got a lot of stuff that we could cover. Okay, guys? So I want to make sure that I'm covering everything that y'all want to see, and also keep the political and the sports, because that is our main focus on this channel. All right. So anyway, let's get going with the first topic at hand. This is coming on from CNN. Again, Donald Trump is trying to get rid of put back all of the Confederate statues. So let's listen in on this. I'm going to give you my 2 cents once this video is complete, and then I'll let you know how I feel about this after it's over.
Believe me, she wasn't happy about doing that. The white woman that's standing there that they're making, that has like a crown of olives on her head, and making it look like she's protecting the slaves, and that depicts that there are black slaves fighting alongside their slave owners. There's nothing reckoned to the secretary, and Scott, you're really quiet on this. I would love to hear your perspective.
Let me say this.
Yeah, me too. I want to know why you guys support a party that wants to elevate the lost cause.
Wait. You just put words in her mouth. I live in that statue. You don't topple it in the middle of the night with a bunch of criminal thugs. You do it through the process of the city.
Okay, so are you okay with them putting... Okay, fine.
So you go through the process... Well, Arlington is a complicated place. It's a
yes or no answer. No, it's a yes or no answer. This is a yes or no answer.
I'm not sure.
I don't know how he arrived at the decision. My personal view is it statute?
Hello, everybody. Guys, let's get right into this segment. Republicans, they simply cannot push back against any racism, no matter how obvious. This is so disgusting. The way they twist themselves. I'm getting really sick of watching this. They know who the Republican voters are and what they are about, and it's why they just simply refuse to push back. Check this out.
At Zaxby's, you can lemon pepper any way you want. Get lemon pepper wings, lemon pepper sandwiches.
It's sickening.
So tonight, the Confederacy is trending again, at least in the form of 2 statues. Defense Secretary Pete Hatchett ordering the return of a statue honoring the separatists built by a Confederate soldier. Hatchett says the, quote, reconciliation monument should have never been taken down by, quote, woke lemmings, claiming the administration doesn't believe in erasing U.S. history. And it comes just a day after the White House announced it is bringing back the only statue in Washington, D.C., honoring a Confederate leader, which was brought down during the Black Lives Matter protests in 2020. Let me just tell you which one of these statues is the one in Arlington by Moses Ezekiel, a Confederate soldier who pushed the lost cause myth that the Civil War was not a war to keep slavery, that slavery was a positive good. Anyway, what do we think about the return of these statues?
John, a statue is celebratory, it's praise. If we want to preserve history, we have history books and we have museums. I'm America first. I support Americans first. And as a Black American, no understanding the history that Black Americans built this country against their will. And before we even get to reparations, didn't even get so much as a thank you. The Confederates were traitors and they lost. We should not be building monuments to nor supporting the losers.
I'm interested in what
Forget thank you. They've been punishing Black people ever since.
you guys think.
Yeah, me too. I want to know why you guys support a party that wants to elevate the lost cause and traitors.
Wait. You just put words in her mouth. I live in Alexandria, Virginia. We have a street named for Roger Taney, who wrote the Dred Scott decision, one of the 2 or 3 most despicable decisions in the history of the Supreme Court. He should not be honored with a street. It was a street that was picked during the height of segregation. It was not, he has nothing to do with the city. That should be gone. But we have a process by which you get a statue in Washington, D.C. One of the statues in question was paid for by the Masons. If you want to get rid of that statue, you don't topple it in the middle of the night with a bunch of criminal thugs. You do it through the process of the city.
Okay, so are you okay with them putting... fine.
So you go through the process and take down the statues.
Are you okay with the statue that is being put, the monument that's being put back in Arlington Cemetery?
I don't know much about that statute.
I'll
I know
tell you
Pete
about it.
Hegseth says
So
it's
I
a
will tell you about
reconciliation
it.
statute. I
Well,
don't know
but
about
Pete
it.
Hegseth needs to pick up a book unless he's
That's
okay
it.
with the lost cause, because that statute is a statute that is romanticizing the lost cause and the Confederacy. It depicts what that we just showed on CNN. It depicts a black slave handing over a baby that the Confederate soldier who's going off to war, and making it look like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry that you're going off to war. They're traitors and treasonous. And I'm sorry, but that black slave right there, believe me, she wasn't happy about doing that. The white woman that's standing there that they're making, that has like a crown of olives on her head, and making it look like she's protecting the slaves, and that depicts that there are black slaves fighting alongside their slave owners. There's nothing reconciliatory about anything with that statue. And not only that, Moses Ezekiel's own family, 22 members of his family, wrote a letter to the government saying, you know what? This is not okay. It should be removed. Put it in a museum. So why is Pete Hegseth, our Secretary of Defense, putting this back? Because Lloyd Austin, our other Secretary of Defense, one who's actually qualified to do his job, took that down because he recognized what an affront it is to Black Americans and the original sin of this country. So why is Pete Hegseth putting it back and honoring these traitors?
So they just won't answer that. And thank you, Tara. That's how you're supposed to do it, right? You need to have passion when speaking about these issues. That's why I greatly appreciate people like Tiffany Cross, Jasmine Crockett. It puts fear into these bigots and makes them squirm.
Yeah, you notice that they're not going against what Donald Trump is doing. They're not even saying they have a problem with it. You know, they'll come up with all these reasons and all these excuses, and oh, well, they shouldn't have, the way they went about, getting rid of the statue. Well, that's beside the point at this point. Okay. The point now is they're trying to put the statues back. Donald Trump is trying to put these racist Confederate flags and statues back. And for what? What do we need them for? Okay. This is more tax dollars going right back to stuff that we don't need, more wasteful spending. Okay, because it's going to take money to rebuild all these statues, to put everything back, and on one hand, they're wanting to save with the government. They're trying to say this is government efficiency, but do you see how when it comes to racism, they have no problem shedding out money to put these statues back because they're trying to make a statement. Okay, so anyway, let's keep going.
As you see here, they refuse to answer. And for the world to see this, corner them and make them answer or panic. Make it clear who this party is. That's what these formats are for, these debates, right? Get in their face, answer the question, so that no one has any doubt of the party they vote for and what they stand for. The party of Christian values, right? They're essentially saying, this guy is essentially saying, yeah, it's racist, it's abhorrent. He didn't even say it was racist. He just said it was abhorrent. But it's about the process of removing a statue. We like a nice and ordered process, but they don't care about process when it comes to deportation, right? Interesting how that works.
Yep.
Guys, the reason I talk about this so much is not to be like, oh, look, another video of Republicans being racist. It's more to show the consistency, the pattern, how it's used as a marketing tool, as a tool of distraction at times. Even more importantly, that the reason the Republicans use racism as a tactic to distract or to market themselves is because they understand the majority of the voters and what they want, their voters. For anyone who is slightly stupid and hasn't noticed yet, it's their favorite treat. It's their favorite pet treat. The juicy red meat they desire above all is racism. This is why I'm especially hard on Black Republicans or Hispanic Republicans, because it's like, damn, like what else do they need to show us? They, I think, despise us.
He's right. That's what I'm saying. I don't even know how you can support that as a minority looking at what he's doing. And he's right. You can see he's Hispanic himself. What do you see in Donald Trump? Why do you think that the MAGA or the Republican Party is really for you? Now, take it. There's nothing wrong with being Democrat or Republican. Okay, let me make that clear. The problem is when you get into MAGA, which is a whole separate entity within itself. And to be honest with you, MAGA to me is what demolished the Republican Party. If you think about the old presidents like Bush and let me see, of course Donald Trump, but even his first term wasn't quite like it is now, but Bush and even the first and the second Bush back then, Ronald Reagan, same thing. Back then, you could agree to disagree. They still had a common respect for the nation, the world, and the American people. Now, it's almost like it's kind of like a subculture of the Republican Party. And it's almost like tarnishing what that party represents, because back in the day, the Republican Party actually was for the black people a long time ago. In fact, Martin Luther King was Republican, so I understand the roots of the Republican Party, but now that they're deviating away from it and they're making it MAGA, Make America Great Again, that's where I felt like the racial divide started really tarnishing the political movement, making it more racist and inciting more hate, but anyway, let's keep going.
So deep to their core. It's fundamental to who they are. It drives me up a wall to see any person of color that can support these monsters. If we could just unite, and Hispanics especially, voted like black people do, these people will have to change the way they behave real quick. This in itself will change the lives of millions of black and brown people for the better, as it trickles down to everything: business, power and politics, media, everything. I don't care too much to change people's heart.
Are you ready to sell your house? I will buy it. You can get a cash offer in 24 hours or...
I'm not a god. If I can on the way, great. What I really want to do is change the balance of power, to make it so that these people won't have a slight thought to do or say some racist crap, because simply it just isn't beneficial to them anymore. Simply put, it's never going to end if it's seen as a tool to win election, power, wealth, whatever it is.
In my opinion, every single Confederate monument is an act of cultural terrorism. And I'll tell you why. This movement, the Lost Cause movement, arises out of a post-Reconstruction time where the Confederate battle flag is adopted, where the Ku Klux Klan arises and comes to power, all for one reason. And these monuments and these people are romanticized, all for one reason: to control and terrorize black people.
That's right.
So moving away from those monuments, from celebrating those people, is actually a strong sign of actual reconciliation, that we don't want black people to live in fear of racial terror and slavery anymore. And to repower those things and those images is saying, it's to me, saying the opposite of that. But here's the difference. I'm not about to cry over the statue. You know why? Because we're not scared no more. We're not afraid. We never really were. We're not afraid of statues. We're not afraid of the cultural terrorists. Our eyes are wide open in terms of what America means for us. And if the president and his administration want to cozy up to the worst parts of American history, we see them. Point blank, period.
But they should be asked why they're okay
I agree
with
with you
it.
that Lost Cause statues that were put up that were intended to terrorize black Americans well after the horrors of the Civil War, it's inappropriate. The question is whether those statues should be removed.
It's racist. Just say it's effing racist. It's inappropriate. It's insensitive.
In the middle of the night by violent mobs, and so they've been removed by government processes.
Should they be put back? But that has not. So again, I go back to: should the Secretary of Defense be putting a statue back that was properly removed? Should he be putting it back, glorifying people who were traitors to this country?
And lost,
correct?
Well, Arlington is a complicated place. It's
Unbelievable.
You see, he just won't answer the question. You know, she asked, should it be put back? He talking about it's complicated. No, it's not. It's very simple. Okay, it is very simple. They are racist statues that signify hate. Why do you want to put these back? For what? Okay, this is where we are, guys. They can't come to grips. And it's not they can't come to grips. They just don't want to. Okay, they know that power is slipping out of their fingertips every single day as we speak. So anything that they can get their hands on to put that hatred back, to give them more power, that's what they're going to try to do. You know, you see here, he's having a hard time just answering the question. The lady was like, but should it be put back? He talking about it's complicated. Yeah. No, it's not complicated. It's actually very, very simple. Okay. The answer is no. They should not be put back. Okay. It shouldn't have been there in the first place. You know. But anyway, let's move on to the next topic, guys. We're going to talk about Judge Hatchet. She's going to tell you her 2 cents about the Maga agenda, because she's got some stuff to say on the Don Lemon Show. So we're going to go ahead and break this video down once it's complete.
Hatchet. I should have said Judge Glenda Hatchet. Hi, Judge. How are you?
I'm wonderful, Don. I'm glad to see you. Great to see you.
I'm good. It's good to see you. I miss you. I miss talking to
I
you.
miss you a lot.
Yeah.
I do.
Thank you. What's on your mind today?
Well, I'll tell you, I am concerned. We have to remember that these are human beings who have lives. They have families. They have children. They have jobs. But yet they were courageous to literally have to flee from Texas.
You're talking about the Texas, what's happening with the Democratic lawmakers in Texas. Yeah.
And so to give a little bit of background on this, Don, is that there was legislation passed. And the reason that the legislation was passed earlier was to say that you couldn't walk out so that there would not be a quorum. So this is what's happening. The Democrats are leaving so that there will not be enough people to have a quorum to have legitimate votes. Mm-hmm. So before all of this, the legislature said, aha, because the Democrats have done this before, if you do it, you will be arrested. So there are literally members of the Texas legislature who are now literally out of their homes, out of state in most cases, who have had to flee because they would be arrested. So that becomes the question. You have a state attorney general who has said in writing, we will hunt. He used the word, Don, hunt them down. There's also discussions that they should be charged with a felony. Mm-hmm. Now, these are people who have kids in school, who have jobs, who have had to stop their lives to flee the state so that they could not begin this process of redistricting. Can we go back 2 steps from that?
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you own apartment buildings? Seriously, why don't you own these big apartment?
Go on.
So this session is not one that's scheduled, Don. They're not supposed to be even in session.
Right. This is a special session that they called, and they didn't call it for the flooding that happened in Texas or anything else. They called it because they wanted to gerrymander this district in favor of Republicans. Why are you so concerned about that? Are you concerned about our democracy?
I am very concerned about democracy because what we're talking about now, we're talking about 5 seats that could be affected by this whole process. And to the larger question, Don, I'm very concerned about the democracy. I'm concerned about the balance of power. I'm concerned about what's happening in the Supreme Court. I'm concerned that there are no checks and balances now in Congress, and that so much of what they said they were going to do in Project 2025, they've been able to accomplish. What does that mean day to day? Democracy is fragile. It is not guaranteed, Don. Mm-hmm. And if we don't have these guardrails, it's not guaranteed that we will have a democracy. And you know me well enough to know that I am not an alarmist. I am not saying that the sky is falling. But I am deeply concerned about the state of matters in this country now. I am.
If you were,
let me interject just for a second. You hear, this is a judge saying this, okay? She is a judge, a well-known judge, and she's saying that she is concerned about the democracy, where we are headed, where Donald Trump is. He's reckless. He's just taking a wrecking ball. He's just doing whatever he wants to do. And then, like she was saying, there is no checks and balance. Who is checking behind all of this to make sure all this is fair and this is right and this is legal? Okay, a lot of policies that they're putting into place. People losing jobs still. People losing just businesses. You know, people still not getting help from the floods and the waters. Taking away food stamps, taking away Department of Education, going after natural born citizens, and all this just rigmarole stuff. But again, not tackling what's important. Inflation, food still high, gas going up even more as we speak, right? People can't afford housing, basic necessities, okay? People who've lost homes, and I keep bringing this up because this is what the forefront should be. The American people, not all this. It's like he's got his hands in too much stuff that doesn't matter. Okay, all right. That's my whole thing about all of this. Yes, if you want to tackle this later, fine, but let's get to what's important. Let's get to what matters. Okay, the American citizen. And right now, he's not doing that. His hands is all over the place. But anyway, we're going to go on to that last segment because I told you Kamala Harris, I just wanted to kind of touch on that briefly because I want you to see, this is a judge speaking out, guys. This was somebody that knows the law. She knows what's going on. She's a judge, you know. So if a judge is telling you, listen, this is not good, okay, we might need to start paying attention to this a little bit closer. All right, so, but the last segment, guys, is going to be with Kamala Harris. This is her first interview since she's lost the election as far as on a talk show. Let's listen to this video. We're going to chime in at the end, and I'll tell you what I feel about what Kamala Harris thinks as far as the first 107 days of Trump.
Aaliyah, love you here.
I mean, it's easy to spot me on the court, I bet.
But you've always been like that. See me? Yeah. Before you hear me, all done.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That's so fast. I love you.
I know that we can get you up to speed, but can we get this thing to slow down once it gets there?
Kamala's saying, look, I don't want to be a part of this at all right now, okay, because the system she feels is getting weaker and weaker, and she don't feel like there's no protection, which I understand where she's coming from on that. I mean, she had a bad loss during the debate, and then but deep down we felt like she won, and then all the stuff that Donald Trump is doing right now is just making things even worse. And I get it. She wants to break away. She said, she just wants to travel. She just want to be left alone. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. You know, she don't even want to be the governor. She's like, you know what? Nope. I just want to just be an everyday person. Just leave me alone. Let me collect my thoughts. And if things get better, she probably will try to get back into it. But she's got a book out right now, 107 days, y'all, already, you know, so she's going to go even deeper as far as what she feels about this whole thing, about Donald Trump's presidency. But, you know, you hear it from her. She's tired, you know, she don't want anything to do with it. And you know what? Good for her. You know, she just wants to take a step back, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Knock, knock. Hi there. I'd love to show you what a K-12 powered school is really like.
All right, so you hear what she had to say. She's not happy how things are going right now. The book is out, 107 days. I might get the book just to read it for myself. Because I'm kind of curious now what she got in that book, you know, so. But anyway, guys, I hope y'all have enjoyed the show. I will be back this Saturday. We're going to do the entertainment and relationship sector, and it's going to be at 8 p.m. on Saturday. Normally on Saturday, we do it at 2 o'clock, but we decided to do it at 8 o'clock also on Saturday. So we're keeping everything at 8 o'clock on Saturday. All right. So I will see y'all this coming Saturday. And also, guys, if you enjoyed this content, please hit like, share, and subscribe. And also, if you can, please hit the notification bell. That way you won't miss any episodes every time I come on to YouTube. Okay? I will be back again 8 o'clock on Saturday. Everybody have a great rest of your night. And I will talk with you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.